This radio program is PG-13. Parents strongly caution some material may be inappropriate for children under the age of 13.
The following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Arizona, this is Brother Mike. Welcome to Filthy Fridays on HardcoreChristianity.com. Thanks for tuning into the program, KXXT Christian Radio. Today's Bible study, Taylor Swifties. This story you're not going to believe. Hey, will you call somebody and tell them the radio program's on? Normally we don't do that on Filthy Fridays, but this one is so shocking. Everybody needs to hear it. We're going to delve into the world of psychology and psychiatry today, and the supernatural power of satanic delusions. Welcome to the program. This is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center downtown. 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. It's a red brick building. On the website, HardcoreChristianity.com, you see all of our ministry services, children's deliverance services, women's seminars. Tuesday night, women's Zoom at 6:30 p.m. Wednesday night, Zoom, healing and deliverance service for everybody, 6 p.m. Thursday and Friday night, live services, preaching, teaching, healing, and deliverance at both services, 7 p.m. here locally, 7 p.m. Pacific time. My deliverance training course is on the fourth Saturday of every month at noon at the Deliverance Center. Please hit the PayPal button when you come visit. Send us another donation as you have for the last, believe it or not, over 20 years I've been on the radio here in Maricopa County. Don't forget about my Sunday morning podcast on twitch.tv. Just go to twitch.tv and put in HCCADC at 9 a.m. Pacific and Arizona time. I'll see you Sunday for God's holy word and the deep things of God. Taylor Swifties. What I'm going to go over with you today is so bizarre, so nuts, so crazy, you're probably not going to believe me, but believe it or not, this is actually true. This is really happening. It's a real demonic phenomenon, and it is really documented in the field of psychiatry and psychology. I'm going to share some what appears to be crazy things with you today. These pop stars, almost all of them, have supernatural power from demons. They have an ability to put spell-binding curses and mind control over their fans. Right now, for example, Taylor Swift is the biggest star in the entire world. She's the number one concert draw, and she has fans that are rabid. Well, listen to this. She started a new tour. It's called the Eras Tour, where she goes over her songs from the past, the present, the super present, and so on. She has a concert where she has like 40 songs. It costs a fortune to get into these things. She never has an empty seat in her concerts. I mean, they're just packed out. There's a waiting list to get tickets to see Taylor Swift. Her fans are called Swifties. And believe it or not, the fans suffer from a satanic attack during her concerts. Psychologists are calling it post-concert amnesia. The fans are coming out and saying that they almost had like an out-of-body experience during her concerts, almost like they're in a dreamlike state. And they can't remember any of the concert when they get home. They have literally developed concert amnesia. They can't remember what happened. The concerts are filled with, as you know, loud noises, laser shows, massive props, mind-blowing spectacles. And demons in these concerts enter the minds of the fans while they are surrendering their lives to Taylor Swift and other superstars. Beyonce, for example, has the exact same thing happen. And the fans, believe it or not, leave and report that they had amnesia and can't remember any of the concert. They report feeling like they had an out-of-body experience. This is exactly what's happened. It's been documented by numerous physicians who have treated these patients who went to her concerts. They went to her concerts. And this is not an unusual event. In psychiatry, MPI is a legitimate disorder. It's called mass psychogenic illness. MPI is an illness where huge numbers of people suddenly start coming down with the same illness, even though there's no physical or environmental reason for them to be sick. Mass psychogenic illness is when large groups of people, sometimes entire towns, through stress and fear, think they are sick when they're not. It's called MPI. There's another illness called mass formation psychosis. And the guy that invented the mRNA for the vaccines, Dr. Malone, here's how he described the definition of it. Quote, when society becomes decoupled from each other and has a free-floating anxiety in a sense that things don't make sense, then their attention gets focused by a leader or a series of events on one small point, similar to hypnosis. They literally become hypnotized and can be led anywhere. They will follow the person or the group. It doesn't matter whether they lie to them or not. The data to them is irrelevant. They just simply blindly follow them. And Dr. Malone was pointing out that that's what happened during this satanic COVID-19 vaccine insanity that started in 2022. Mass formation psychosis. Mass psychogenic illness, where large numbers of people get sick. Mass hysteria. Mass hysteria is a legitimate conversion disorder psychiatric illness. This is a sickness, mass hysteria, where physiological symptoms affecting the nervous system are found in large numbers of people without a physical cause of any illness or injury triggering it, and which is usually a reaction to psychological stress, anxiety, and distress. Sometimes they call mass hysteria collective obsessional behavior. It's an outbreak of abnormal illness behavior that cannot be explained by physical disease or common sense. And this sickness, mass hysteria, affects people who would not normally behave in that fashion. In other words, it's not an illness that's superimposed on people who are already mentally ill. Mass hysteria is a different type of illness. Couple of examples of mass hysteria. Listen to this. The June bug epidemic of 1962. In 1962, 60 workers in a textile mill came down with bizarre symptoms. They all had the same symptoms: rashes, nausea, numbness. And nobody knew why, and there was no physical cause for it. The workers were anxious and afraid because they believed there were insects in the plant, in the mill, making them sick. But nobody could find them or see them or document them. Again, this is an illness caused by demons. Fear demons trigger it through anxiety. In 1892, schoolgirls in a grade school in Germany had uncontrollable shaking of their hands when they tried to write. Many of them had amnesia and altered states of consciousness. No one knew why. In 1962, in a girls' school, uncontrollable laughter broke out at this school. It spread to several other schools. It spread to over 1,000 people in the community. It lasted several months. This happened in Europe, and they had to close 14 schools because of this strange laughter outbreak. It's very similar to the demonic laughter you'll see in a charismatic or Pentecostal or prophetic church, where they have hysterical holy laughter, people rolling around on the ground, back and forth, laughing their heads off. It's all caused by demons. Listen to this. In 1518, the dance plague hit a French city, Strasbourg. Unbelievably, people started to dance for no reason. A few people started it, and then up to 400 people started it, and they could not stop. This went on for months. Dozens of people danced until they dropped dead. They're dead. In Salem, Massachusetts, in 1692, paranoia and fear demons swept the entire city, and suddenly everybody was a witch. They were burning men, women, and children at the stake, killing them for no reason. Through fear and anxiety, the demons had convinced people that many of the people living among them were witches and warlocks. Friends, the mass delusion spoken of in Genesis, in the book of Revelation, is coming to the world, and we're starting to experience it here. Mass reaction formation, mass hysteria is already here. It's already happening. This is what the power of Satan can do. This is what fear demons can do. They can take entire areas, entire neighborhoods, entire cities, and they can take over people's minds.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.